Hi, I'm Jason from worshipartistry.com. And one thing that we get a lot of questions about, which surprises me because they're so common, are slash chords. Like, what are they? How are you supposed to play them? And so in this video, I'm going to give you just a real quick overview of what a slash chord actually is, as well as all the common open shapes. So if you are an acoustic guitar player and you're playing worship music or campfire tunes, or really like most music, if you know these shapes, you'll be able to get through pretty much any chord chart. So let's go ahead and dive in. Before we get started, we noticed that we have a lot of people watching our videos, but not all of you are subscribing, or even hitting like, or sharing. So before we get going, I would really love it if you would do that. Thanks. First off, let's talk about what a slash chord actually is. You've probably seen them around. You'll see like G/B or E/G sharp or D/F sharp. Those are slash chords. That's what they look like on a chord chart. But essentially what those are saying, for example, with a G over B or G/B, we call it G over B. It's the musician lingo. Make sure you say that right. But when you're playing a G chord, your lowest note is a G. If you're playing a D chord, your lowest note is a D. But sometimes we do inversions and we throw a different note on the bottom. So instead of playing that G chord with the lowest note being a G, well, now I'm going to put a B note in the bottom, but everything else is going to stay the same. So it's a G over B. Same thing, a D chord or a D over F sharp. Still sounds like a D chord, but it's got a different root note, right? Now, when it comes to figuring out the shapes of those, while you can do all kinds of things, like you can get real deep into theory on this, but I would say after teaching about 700 songs on worship artistry, that for acoustic guitar, you're usually using open slash shapes. And because of that, there's really only a few main shapes to learn. And if you learn those, you'll be able to make it through pretty much every song. So if you just bookmark this video, subscribe, do all the things, and hang on to this one because you're going to want to come back to it until you have it all memorized. Let's start out with a nice easy one. We'll start out with a C over E. Now you'll see this in the key of C, you'll see it in the key of G sometimes, but you know a C chord. And if you know a C chord, you know that this low E string is not supposed to ring out unless it's a C over E. Now that might almost sound wrong because at that low note, sometimes it feels a little weird, but if you put it in context, you see it actually kind of helps that bass line move. So C over E is just a C chord where you don't have to do the work to mute your low E string. Another very common one is a D over F sharp. So this is a D chord, which probably already know. D is in the root. Now sometimes, a lot of times actually, you're gonna hit the A string in there as well, which would technically make that a D over A, but like nobody ever writes that because it's so common of an open chord. But if you wanna throw an F sharp in the bass, you're gonna bring your thumb over the top to hold down the second fret of that E. And that's gonna give you a D over F sharp. Next up, we're going to keep walking up the low notes here on the low E string. We're going to play an E over G sharp. Another very common one. You notice a lot of these are like 1 over 3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out our Fundamentals of Acoustic Guitar course because that goes into real in-depth stuff there. But we're going to start out with that E chord, typical E, and we want to get a G sharp in the bass. Now this is a little tricky because this one is all the way up here on the 4th fret. And if you're sitting here, that's very uncomfortable. So what we're gonna do, what I like to do, is I'm going to put my pointer finger on the G like normal, but my middle finger is gonna go to the D, and then my pinky will reach to this low E string on the 4th fret. And then that pinky is gonna naturally mute the A. We don't even need to do any work. And that's gonna give us our E over G sharp. Another common one is an F over A. So that's going to be an F chord, which everybody loves, I know. But we're only going to focus on, just for this one, the pointer finger on the B, middle on the G, ring finger on the D. Normally, you mute this A string. But just like with the C over E, we're going to open that A string up. But we still got to make sure that that thumb gets over the top to mute the low E string. It's an F over A. You can either mute this high E or open it or open the G. All kinds of different versions of this, but essentially you're just playing an F chord with A in the bass. Next up, we're going to look at a G over B. And I'm going to play this kind of more the rock way because it's just kind of the way I do it normally, as I put my pinky and my ring finger here. And I'm just going to put my pointer finger on the second fret of the A and mute the low E string. Now you could also do kind of the more folky G over B. That works as well. The main thing is you want the B in the bass and you want to mute that low E string. So there's our G over B. And then finally, we're going to look at our A over C sharp. Now this one is important because it's actually movable and it can help us find our way to other chords. So in A over C sharp, we're going to bar our D, G, and B. And then we're going to use our ring finger to hold down the fourth fret of the A and mute the low E string. Now, if I want to work really hard, I can get enough curve in my pointer finger that this E string rings out. But a lot of times, I don't really care about that. So I just mute that E string. And what's happened now is, well, there's no open strings, which makes this a movable chord shape. So we're going to take that A over C sharp. I'm going to scoot it up one fret. Now it's a B flat over D. Another one, B over D sharp. We use that one a lot in the key of E. So you just move that shape around. Your root note, your ring finger is whatever that root note is, and then your pointer finger creates the chord. So one more time, just a quick run through. We have our C over E, our D over F sharp, our E over G sharp, our F over A, our G over B, our A over C sharp, and we've pretty much covered all the open slash chords. Now, you may notice, when I put all those together, they didn't sound that great. Because they're not all in the same key. I didn't play them like within the context of where they're at. But in the fundamentals of acoustic guitar course, I actually do that. We actually go through a full key, talk about where the slash chords fit, why they fit there, and we make sure that we get those sounding really, really good. So if this wasn't enough for you, if you looked at this and went, man, I need to know more, check out our fundamentals of acoustic guitar course. And if you don't want to do that, just please subscribe. See you next time.